Hi viewers, welcome back to our channel Make Math Easy. So in the last class we started with the triangle series, right? And before that class we discussed about the cuboid based problems. So in today's class we will just extend this discussion of the triangle series. I got few more questions, like one of the important questions from the board papers. This we are going to discuss, and we have another cuboid based question that also we will discuss if possible in today's class. Okay. So let us see the question first. A point on the hypotenuse of a right angled triangle. A point on hypotenuse of a right angled triangle is at a distance A and B units from the side of a triangle. So you are having a triangle, and on the hypotenuse you are having a point P. It can be anything, which is at a distance of A and B units from the sides of a triangle. So this is the point, means these are the sides. So which is at a distance of A units and B units. Correct? So what they are asking is the minimum length of the hypotenuse is so and so. They are asking for. So this and all is the given information, and this is what is the function that has to be maximized or minimized. That means that has to be derivated. So let us see this question. You have the length of the hypotenuse has to be minimum. That is the first condition they had given to us. Let us say if this is angle theta here, obviously this is also will become theta, because BC can be parallel to this line and this is a perpendicular, so it's a transversal. The lines corresponding angles will become equal. So this is nothing but x if I say, and this is y. My function AP, let us say I will take it as a h, is equal to x plus y. This is the function that has to be maximized or minimized. Okay. So first I can find the x value from the question, that this is adjacent and this is hypotenuse. So if I take a cos theta adjacent by hypotenuse, I want x value, x is equal to a secant theta, because a by cos theta you will get. Similarly, in this triangle, this B is hypotenuse, so I will find sin theta, which is equal to opposite by hypotenuse. I want y, it will become B cosecant theta. Okay. So as I told you before itself, try to pitch in the trigonometric functions into picture. Then what will happen? Our calculation part will become so simple and you won't have any radicals at all. That is the advantage. So my function is now becoming h is equal to, x is nothing but a secant theta, b is nothing but b cosecant theta. I mean y is equal to b cosecant theta. Now it is very clear that a and b they had mentioned anyway in the question, so they are called as constants. I have to apply differentiation with respect to theta. dh by d theta is equal to a secant theta differentiation is secant theta tan theta, cosecant theta differentiation is 1 by sin theta, right? So you will be getting minus cosecant theta cot theta. Correct? So just a minute, let me cross check this one. 1 by sin theta. So 1 by sin theta, if I just apply the differentiation, minus cos theta by sin square theta, yeah, minus cosecant theta cot theta. Now you see, whenever if we forget the formulas, we just have to derive that. That's it, simple as that. What is there in that? So now I will apply, we will equate dh by d theta to 0, right? So let us simplify this further. You will be getting a secant theta into tan theta is equal to b cosecant theta cot theta. Okay. So simplify this further. I just b to the other side I will send, and I will keep all the trigonometric functions on one side. Cosecant theta can be written as 1 by sin theta. This is cos theta by sin theta. So 1 by sin theta cos theta by sin theta whole divided by this function. Secant theta is 1 by cos theta, tan theta is sin theta by cos theta. Okay. So let us simplify this further and let us see what we are going to get. A by b is equal to, this is cos theta by sin square theta, and if you bring this term to the numerator, it will become cos square theta by sin theta. Okay. So let us simplify this further. So this is equal to cos cube theta by sin cube theta. That means cot cube theta is equal to a by b. From this, if I simplify, tan cube theta will become b by a, and I will be getting tan theta is equal to b by a whole power 1 by 3. This is the answer. This is the turning point that I am getting here. Tan theta is equal to b by a whole power 1 by 3. But what is our idea? We have to prove that dh by d theta is minimum. That means length should be minimum. So dh by d theta, or h, if you have to prove it as a minimum, you should find the second order differentiation and you have to find that it is less than 0, right? Sorry, greater than 0, because you have to prove for minimum. So let us do that. dh by d theta is equal to a into secant theta tan theta minus b into cosecant theta cot theta. This is the function for us. Let us apply differentiation for one more time and let us see what we are going to get. Okay. So this is equal to, let us apply differentiation for one more time across this with respect to theta. dh square by d square h by d theta square. This you have to apply the UV rule. So a into secant theta differentiation is secant theta tan theta. So secant theta tan theta into tan theta will be as it is, and secant theta will be as it is. Tan theta differentiation is secant square theta minus b into cosecant theta differentiation is minus cosecant theta cot theta. Already cot theta is there, and then plus cosecant theta I will keep as it is. Cot theta differentiation is minus cosecant square theta. Okay. So from this I can pull the minus alone, or even cosecant also you can take common. I will just pull the minus outside. First term will become a secant theta tan square theta plus secant cube theta. If I pull the minus common, it will become plus b cosecant theta cot square theta plus cosecant cube theta. So you see here there is no negative term at all. So that means this value will be obviously greater than 0. Therefore, length of hypotenuse is minimum for this theta, right? So when tan theta is equal to b by a whole power 1 by 3. Okay? But this is not our requirement. They are asking us to prove that minimum length of hypotenuse is something like a power 2 by 3 plus b power 2 by 3, something like that we have, right? So what is length of hypotenuse actually? H is equal to x plus y we had taken. That is nothing but a secant theta plus b cosecant theta. This is what the function we are having, right? So to find the h value, first we should know what is the value of secant theta, what is the value of tan theta. Now you see our cosecant theta. See, this is a triangle. I am having another triangle theta. This is b power 1 by 3. This is a power 1 by 3. Okay. So obviously this will become square root of a power 2 by 3 plus b power 2 by 3. Correct? Because we know that Pythagorean theorem. So from this a into secant theta means hypotenuse by adjacent. So hypotenuse is root over a power 2 by 3 plus b power 2 by 3 by adjacent means a power 1 by 3 plus b into cosecant theta. It's the reciprocal of sin theta. So adjacent by, sorry, hypotenuse by opposite. So that is root over a power 2 by 3 plus b power 2 by 3 divided by b power 1 by 3. Okay. Now simplify this further. A power a by a power 1 by 3, which will give me a power 2 by 3. And before that, in this entire thing I can pull that e power 2 by 3 plus b power 2 by 3 as a common. Then I will get inside the first term as an a power 2 by 3 plus b power 2 by 3 I will get. Correct? So a power 2 by 3 plus b power 2 by 3 into a power 2 by square root of a power 2 by 3 plus b power 2 by 3. If we just simplify this one, this square root can be written as a power 2 by 3 plus b power 2 by 3 whole power half into a power 2 by 3 plus b power 2 by 3. If we just simplify this one, that bases are same and powers will get added. So you will be getting a power 2 by 3 plus b power 2 by 3 whole power 3 by 2. So the point you have to understand here, the point you have to understand here is you just have to be very careful in identifying how to start the question. So the most important thing here is you have to be very much conscious in converting the given function in terms of the whether you want to do in terms of normally variables only, or you want to do in terms of the trigonometric function. So my suggestion for you is better you start with respect to trigonometric function. That will maximum it will reduce the complexity of the question, because what is the advantage is it will become a single variable obviously, because when you try to introduce the trigonometric function everything will come in terms of the theta alone, so that won't be a much problem for you to deal with the derivative part. Okay, right. Now let us see one more question. See, this is a completely this one. Where is this question? Just a minute. Right, this one. It's actually not a purely purely cuboid based question. It is having some another sphere also. Okay, we will discuss this a little later, because once if we start that series of combination of the solids, no, that time we can discuss. As of now, these are the questions based on the completely triangle. So with this we completed the questions based on the triangle and all. In the next class we will try to start with the questions which are based on combination of the solids. We will see, that means one is inscribing in the another, or combination of the 2D figures. You will be having a rectangular window on the top, you will have an another window of shape semicircle. Like that we have a few questions that we will discuss, because those questions has a high scope of giving in the case study based questions. As you know that they changed the pattern this time, so there is a shift in I mean, instead of giving a 5 mark question, what they are going to do is they will give in terms of a comprehensive question, and below that you will be having 5 questions. So it's just a case study based question that we will discuss in the next class, right? Hope you enjoy this video. In the next class we will discuss remaining important models. Thank you for watching.